Hi, my name is Josiah. I'm based out of McKinney, Texas. I'm 23 years old, and this is Financial Audit.
Now, this is a follow-up episode. You don't need to watch the first one to get it because it's just a financial audit, just like any others. But just to do kind of a quick recap, essentially, you were in a stupid amount of debt and you went into really bad debts. You broke a lease to move in with your family. You did that in a kind of responsible way, though, because you were intending to move in there to save some money to pay off a lot of the debt that we talked about. You were trying to cash flow some school, but there were no credits to transfer because you went to like a career institute and it was a bit weird. And the degree may have not been exactly what you wanted to go into because you were just dealing with what you already had and what you were going into. You were working like a trillion hours, Amazon delivery driving, and then working at a gym as well. You had just bought a new car and took out an absolutely disgusting debt on it. We suggested selling it, borrowing a personal loan to make up the difference and getting a cheaper car than paying that off as quick as possible, or just paying it off over the course of like 15 months or so aggressively. You were overdrafting on your checking account, which pissed me the off because you were choosing to spend money on bullshit instead of like having enough money in your checking account to deal with stuff. You had a bunch of other debts. You financed the braces and stuff like that. And you had some IRS issues and you had to make some payments. And it's the only time I ever recommended on the show to borrow from family, but it wasn't like a borrow from family and then pay them off over time thing. It was like, okay, the payment was due in like 2 days. So let's see if we could borrow like $1,000 from the family so you can pay the IRS and then pay back the family within like 2 weeks. So it was a very quick thing, but it was like it was an emergency situation and you got yourself into just a rough situation. But it's been, you said 9 months, I think?
Yeah, since November.
Wow, yeah, so it's been a while. You should have made substantial progress if you followed my plan at this point. Unlike every other financial audit who comes in here, usually I review their stuff beforehand and make sure I'm going in fully aware of their situation relatively. I have not reviewed anything, and with follow-up episodes, I don't like to because I want to go into this blind and see what you've done.
Good.
In your mind, have you made progress?
Absolutely. Substantial progress.
Substantial?
Substantial.
Ooh, go on.
I don't want to spoil too much, but I've paid off a good amount of all of everything. I didn't exactly follow your plan to the T, and we'll talk about that. I didn't agree with everything, but
sure,
the basis of it I agree with, and I did most of it. So
good. So the fire stayed lit under your ass like the whole time?
Not the whole time. I think the comment section definitely helped a lot.
The comment section?
Yeah, the comments. They were great. I mean, everyone was very supportive of me,
good,
and everyone believed in me. So I think that was a really good factor, a really helpful factor in moving forward in this process.
Very good. That's awesome. Cool. Well, now I would have given you a financial score maybe to be generous, 1 out of 10 before. Where do you think you are today? What's your financial score today?
Based on your metrics, I have a 0 for real estate, but other than that, I give it a 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay.
I still got some
Let's
ways
see.
to go.
Let's hope you are a nice, optimistic follow-up episode. Now, we start with this is some kind of debt. This is Credit Union of Texas. Okay, count. Oh, this is the loan balance. On a 2000 Chevrolet. Oh, so this is a different car.
Different car. So,
walk us through what happened with the car. This is exciting.
As soon as I left that day, I immediately got in contact with CarMax. I actually couldn't even sell the car because I didn't have the plates yet, so I had to wait a little bit to sell the car.
Okay.
As soon as I got the plates in, I took it to CarMax. They gave me the appraisal. You said no lower than 25. I sold it for 25.5.
Woo!
So I was 4,500 negative. I took out a $5,000 loan from the credit union, which was a 13.9% interest
which
rate.
Sucked, but a much lower balance. We could attack it.
Absolutely. So I did that, and I went and got this 2003 Chevy Silverado, 7,500 out the door. Or I put Gap on it, so 78. It rounded out to be $8,000. So yeah, I did that, and then car was back. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So you haven't really attacked this loan very much because it's still at 7,474.
Well, that's from June. It's at like 6,800, I believe.
Oh, okay. So have you been throwing like extra payments to it?
I haven't. I've been doing minimum because I was focusing on the payments, just minimum, and I didn't have a payment until later. I got it in December, but I didn't have a payment until like April because they had you don't have to pay until this certain month deal.
And what is the minimum monthly payment on this?
This is $233 a month.
For how many months?
It's like 48 maybe.
Okay, why didn't you do 32? We talked about that. Did we not talk about that? I talk about it with almost everyone, so I'm assuming we did.
Yeah, but I don't, and that's another thing I didn't agree. I don't think it really, does it matter? I'm not going to take it that long. It's only going to be like, hey, I can pay it off by the end of the year.
I know, but there's extra risk level at it in general. From a personal level, maybe you kind of fall off this fire line under your ass. Like in the optimistic world, sure, I agree. Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter because you can pay it off, but it just adds a little extra risk to it if you start falling back into old habits and then you're holding onto this car longer and it's an older car, Chevy 2003. I'm sure it has higher miles. So the longer you have a loan balance on a car that isn't fully paid off, or that loan balance on a car that could die,
Could.
Yeah. So it's riskier having the longer loan. So that's why I think, I kind of agree with money guys on this. They're like, I always forget the exact way they lay it out, their rule, but it's essentially like it shouldn't be more than 3 years, 8% of your income,
20% down payment,
20% down payment. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. You like them? You watch them?
Yeah. I watched them ever since they started reacting to your channel.
They're great. I love them. Yeah, hopefully, spoiler, they might be coming down and hanging out in a few months. So yeah, I love those guys. And what's the interest rate you have on this thing?
8.6.
Okay, so not thrilling, but it's definitely not like absolutely insane.
No.
But you're obviously wanting to pay this off as quick as possible once we get through other debts, and we'll see what that situation looks like because, you're probably not going to beat. The average stock market return over history is like 8%.
Okay.
So obviously we want to attack this.
Yep.
Especially since there's added risk to having this anyway. So we've just been making minimum monthly payments and we've never missed anything?
Yeah, never missed a payment on that.
Beautiful. Discover card. And it looks like we're paying off balances. So you had a $200, then we paid $611, and you've purchased $1,066, which is a lot. Actually, we kind of jumped something. What's your job situation these days?
Oh, that was great. I forgot about that. I am no longer work for Amazon. I work for the indoor golf shop in Salina, Texas. So
how many hours a week?
40.
Good.
Full-time salary position.
Full-time salary. What's your salary?
$43,680. $43,680.
Very nice. Okay. Are you going to school still?
I am still in school.
Okay. Are we studying the same thing?
We are not in construction. We are in IT. A lot of people recommend it. I thought I wasn't smart enough.
Which is what you like more?
Yeah, that's what I like more. That's where the money is at. Now, this is where I kind of veer off because you say, do something that you're more passionate about. And I'm just here to,
well, it's not strictly just do something you're passionate about, but it was more the risk of you going and spending all this time in school, something you didn't care about. Cause then I'm like, okay, we're spending all this time in school to get a degree for a job that you won't want to do and you might fall off in like a few years. So it's not just going to something passionate because you could be passionate about something stupid that'll never make any money. And it's like, okay, should we go into debt for school or cash flow school or spend all this time to do that? But it's a mixture of making sure whatever you're going into and spending all this time to get a degree for, you at least want to do.
Yeah.
So passion absolutely helps if there is passion in something that makes money. Now, why are you choosing the degree route versus like certification? Like you watch the show, so I do like course careers, and I love them, and they have a IT certification as well. Why are you going the route of
because I told my parents that I would get my bachelor's degree, and I'm going to be a man of my word and get my bachelor's degree. And I think it means something to me to walk across the stage. Nobody, my older brother hasn't, and my younger brother doesn't look like he wants to. So I want to be the one to show my brothers, this is what we should do. Do you disagree?
It's just a lot of money and time for a status thing. Because you're talking about it in like almost a status way.
Yeah, it's a status thing, but it also, it comes from a good job. You can get a good job with that.
No, absolutely. But the way you talked about it was like more like, okay, yeah, it's like I got this nice coat or something.
Finishing when I started. Like I said, I was going to graduate. I started school. I think in my life, I've done a lot of like starting and stopping, and this is something that I'm going to finish. I've told everyone around me, I'm going to get my degree. I'm just going to go ahead and get it regardless. I'm at a community college. I can finish the 4 years at the community college. I can cash flow it every single semester.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Yeah. No, I'm totally down with that. That's good reasoning. And then going in and, changing your overall behaviors around in terms of how you've done things historically versus how you want to go forward in your life. I think that's a really strong way to do it. And especially since you're cash flowing it, like there's no reason to just be against that. in general. Yeah. And then, yes, I get it feels nice to have the degree. I wish... there's a lot of things I think about college degrees because you're also learning a bunch of that you'll never use.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess these few classes are just like I'm not going to use them. Like it doesn't matter. But
I know. That's why I kind of like certifications. Though it depends. In a hard job market, we'll see where weights are on everything. But the reason I like them is because it's focused truly on the thing you're going to go into. Where you go into college and you take 2 years of gen eds, things you'll never use. Whatever.
Well, let's say I graduate, I can still get my certificates on the side. And
oh no, absolutely. No, I'm just ranting about college degrees.
I feel you.
708 credit score. I don't remember what your credit score was before, but I doubt it was that good.
667. It was.
Oh yeah, look at you.
It's 734.
Do you still have bad debt?
No, I don't have any bad debt.
Yes, you do. You have this car.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's it. But
why is the first thing I see on here McDonald's? Are we not going full pedal to the metal to pay this off?
We haven't been going full pedal to metal this past month, no. But
this past month, what changed? Don't let the fire start going away because it's so easy to slip into bad habits. I give a strict budget because I know how bad it can be in the debts. I've been in really bad debts and I know how good it is on the other side. But even with a couple little things here and there, obviously I'm not going to freak out. I wouldn't say, okay, do that. So that's why it's never included in the budget. But what makes me a little nervous, seeing that and seeing Amazon, more McDonald's, second swing, they're supposed to be paying you. I'm assuming that's the same place. Yep. And no,
I just got into golf, and so I got some golf equipment. What the
yeah, no. Spotify, lots of different bookstore things. Amazon. Yeah, Amazon. Lots of Amazon. So lots of Amazon, and then we're eating out. See, what makes me nervous about that, not that it's always the worst thing in the world, is that you were in a place of really bad habits before, and it's so easy to fall back into it. And I know that on my end from a diet perspective. I yo-yo. You could be yo-yoing your financial situation, and that's not what I want you to do. So that's what makes me nervous. What's our logic behind a lot of this?
I think I did. I just kind of relaxed the last month just because I've been going crazy the past few months, and you get to the end, you're kind of like, well, I'm almost there.
You're not though. I mean, it's $6,800 on an 8.6% interest rate for 4 years on a car that could die is a lot.
I had to be paid off by the end of the year, don't you think? I
don't know. I mean, we'll see at the end of the situation. It could be paid off by the end of the year. If the previous month we've started to fall behind, will it be paid off by the end of the year? I hope so. You're probably going to say yes, but
I guarantee it. We can put money on it. It'll be paid off at the end of the year.
I don't gamble, but I appreciate that. Total interest charge in 2013, $13.27, but that's
from the January payoff. I paid it off in January.
Good.
Or in February.
So this makes me a little nervous.
Yep.
But we'll continue. Everyone always asks me what checking account I use and what high yield savings account I use. Recently, I switched over to SoFi. The reason I did it is because their app is very intuitive and it's super easy to use on your computer as well. But even better than that, their high yield savings account is all the way up to 4.4% at the time of recording this clip. That is so hard to beat, and I am taking advantage of that all day. And not only that, but there's additional bonuses that I took advantage of that you can as well. Set up direct deposit, get a $50 bonus, or all the way up to $250. That's free money. That's free money. I took it. You could take it too. So check out my affiliate link in the description below. It's seriously awesome. I use it each and every day for my banking needs. And here's your credit score. Lots of blank pages that are nothing. This must be a checking account. Okay. No overdrafts this year so far. No. Very good. Big change. Oh, that's savings, 125. Okay, I was like, that's kind of low for a checking account. Any balance, 635. Okay, I'm okay with that for a checking account. Starting 333, it's a little uncomfortable, but certainly better than where you were before. Mm-hmm. Where a lot of things happen to your car, there's a few O'Reillys.
Yeah, I mean, about the car, it's $7,000 truck, so there's some dents. The headlight was falling out, fixed that.
Yeah, that's fair. So, what's not fair? DoorDash. It's an expensive way to get... What's that look?
Because I was like, what did I do? You
DoorDash. You DoorDash, you steam purchased, you went to Moses Specialty Kitchen, Freddy's, oh buddy, McDonald's. This looks like something that's bad. Face Cookies, Cookout Kitchen, Venmoing out money. Buddy, you're going out a lot. Dairy Queen, Popeyes, Panda Express, McDonald's. Dude, this is starting to look like every freaking day. Little Caesars, College.
Yes, the college.
Okay, good. Starbucks. I didn't go through all this, but Best Buy. I'm sure I'm missing some things. So, you use the Fizz card?
I do.
You like it?
It's great. That is top tier card.
Good. I'm glad. I haven't had someone on the show who's actually used it.
Yeah, I use it for everything. You wake up and you swipe the card. It'll tell you immediately you got approved, and then it'll say you got some cash back, and I got a good amount of cash back. I used your code, got that saved up, and then I wake up every morning and it says, we paid off your card. Great, you just go about your day. So it's my new debit card.
That exactly, and it builds your credit score, so it's like perfect for people who aren't credit card people.
Yes, definitely use that.
Okay, well, I'm happy to see that. That is a big surprise. What I wasn't happy to see was you going out to eat almost every day, maybe every other day, if I'm being generous. What?
I don't know. I don't remember me going out that much. I mean, it might have been July. So
this is another credit union.
This is This is just another form of the same. It's the same thing.
Oh, it's the same thing.
I gave you two different formats.
Okay, cool. But I'll see the exact same things in there.
Yeah, the exact same things.
SoFi Savings. Wow. You've been following all the stuff that I personally do on my own end, or else I wouldn't recommend any of this stuff. So that's great. What's your balance? And
it's just $250.
$250. Okay, so you're saving.
Just started.
You went. We talked about doing the $1,000 because you lived at home. Usually the $1,000 I think is too low for most people, because a lot of people can end up in a worse situation than they were if an emergency pops up if they only have $1,000 saved up. But you were staying at home, so I was like, okay, that works. But now we're like $250 almost.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Or like $500.
I didn't do the 1,000. I just took it all out and had like 100 in there because I felt confident that. It was a risk, obviously a big risk. I just felt confident that I could take. I wanted to get this all paid off as soon as possible. Yeah. After I had the conversation with you, I kind of knew how bad everything was, and I just didn't like having money sitting around. Like
that makes sense. So you were living at home, so there is more safety in that situation. Do you still live at home?
I just signed a lease for an apartment. Why are we looking bad at that? That's good.
I hope that's good. I don't know. Again, absolutely. Why don't we just pay off the 9% car first?
Because it's still going to get paid off by the end of the year.
Well, I appreciate your optimism, but it makes me nervous. What's your new rent going to be?
$11.24 with all fees. Its base rent's $10.67, but
what hits your account on a monthly basis with the $43,680?
I have two jobs. I still work two jobs.
Oh, what's your other job?
I still work at the gym.
Oh, really? What are you bringing in with that?
On a monthly basis, she's like 600 paycheck. We bumped it up. It was 14 an hour last time we spoke.
What are you bringing in total?
3,500 a month net.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the safe side. I can get 36 if I work more hours, but.
Gotcha. How is life with going to school and working this many hours? Because you're obviously killing it on the just working your ass front, which is great.
It's not too bad. It's not the best, but I know that things will get better eventually. You just gotta do what you gotta do to get where you gotta be.
Yeah, that's not much free time, I'm assuming, huh?
No, I don't really need it though. When I get free time, I just kind of like sleep. I don't know.
Your rent's a bit expensive. It's 32% of your post-tax with you having to work two jobs over 40 hours a week.
Correct.
So you're working like 60 hours a week?
60, yeah.
So you have to work 60 hours a week and it's still 32%. So that's another thing with this rent thing that I'm not super liking. You kind of...
The main thing about this rent is like I'm tired of driving everywhere. I know that, it's not the best situation, but I wake up, I got to drive 30 minutes to my job. I got to drive 30 minutes to the second job and then 30 minutes back home. This apartment's 5 minutes away from my second job. So I get off of work, I go to my second job, 5 minutes, I can get home and get in bed and sleep.
Is school online?
School's online.
Okay. And then how far is it from the main job?
How far is what from the main job?
Your new apartment?
Like 24 minutes.
Okay. So there's still...
There's still a little bit. It's, what do you cut? You're cutting down half an hour. I mean, I haven't moved in, so if you think that I should just not do it, I don't think it's...
I wouldn't do it yet. I would do it very soon. I just wouldn't do it yet. I would just take care of everything. Make sure you're in the golden position before you have it. You're moving into an apartment out of home without a 1 month emergency fund. That scares me. There's things we need to be in a good...
If I have the discipline to
Yes, I know. I get what you're saying, and a lot of the things that you're talking about right now, you're assuming no potential for risk, though.
What? I mean, okay.
Risk is life.
Yeah, but
Life is you get in a car crash on the way to work, and then all of a sudden you can't work for a few months, or you might have some disability or something medical happens, or there's a family emergency, you have to start taking care of them. Something happens with school, another pandemic happens. There's a lot of risk. This is not stuff that we want to happen. This is not stuff that we assume is going to happen. There are things that impact people all around the country, all around the world, and to assume that it will never happen to any of us is just being blind. So we set up ourselves for success by accounting for some of this risk. It's okay to be in riskier situations. Like I like taking out good leverage on good real estate. There is a level of risk there. People like Dave Ramsey don't agree with that level of risk. That level of risk works for me. I would not move into a new place where I owe a lot on a monthly basis for rent if I do not have at least, I wouldn't move in without at least a 3-month emergency fund. You don't even have one. So that makes me nervous, but you disagree.
No, I understand what you're saying in terms of risk, but like, I think I'll be, everyone says they think they'll be fine until the risk comes up and then something happens, but.
Like what, if your car breaks down right now and you don't have an emergency fund, but we still have to make rent due in like a week, let's say, in specific situations, what are we doing, you know?
Yeah, I'll go to work. What do you mean? If my car breaks down, you no longer have a mode of transportation. You probably need to get another car at that point. Rent's due the next week in this situation. I go to my parents' house and I say, Mom, can I borrow your extra car that you're not using? And I will take that car.
And they will let you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they always have that there?
Yeah. She's not getting rid of it. She doesn't want to. So it's her baby. Mm-hmm. I'll be fine.
I hope so. You have a stomach for it, or a lack of understanding of risk, or just a stomach much more for it than me. Mm-hmm. So let's see here. The gym, yep. Annual net pay. Oh, you gave me the net pay.
Both should be in there. Gross and net, no?
But when you said 43,680, is that net?
No, that's just for that one job.
Oh, that's with both. Okay. Yeah. Minimum monthly payments braces, so we still owe on that.
Yeah, it's like less than $1,000 left.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice. You're close.
I'm very much close.
And it's a $229 minimum monthly payment.
Yeah. Just came out today.
And rent. When does rent start?
September 1st.
Very soon. So have you put a security deposit and everything down?
Yeah, I only have to pay like $275.
Okay. And that rent includes all utilities?
No, that's why I put $1,300 for like if I had like electricity, water, gas. I'm assuming it's not going to go up to $1,300 depending on how much my internet and my electricity bill is.
And then gas, you pay $320 a month for driving around?
Yeah, but that'll go down because I'll be closed.
Go down a little, yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Internet. Phone bill?
No, parents pay for that.
Okay. You're 23. You have a couple years left on their health insurance, but you're in a salary position, so
we have health insurance.
Take advantage of that. Yeah, but maybe you'll have to take care of your phone bill at some point as well. Debt journey, November 27th is when you met, and we'll put this on screen for you guys to see. December 2nd, apartment paid in full. You paid that apartment thing. Good. December 5th, IRS paid in full. Good. Did you end up borrowing from the family?
No, I knew when you said that was.
To?
I just waited. I was just like, forget it. We're just going to wait until I can have the money.
And it was fine?
Yeah.
Okay. IRS is risky to mess with, but I'm glad it worked out. December 9th, $5,000 loan taken out, 13.9% interest, but this was to sell the car, and you sold that on the same day for $25,500, which was awesome. One day later, got the Silverado, $8,000, borrowed for that. December 30th, credit card paid in full, $1,638. Was that like the Best Buy credit card?
No, that was the Discover.
Okay. Both. March 5th, sold a 65-inch TV for $300. Okay, cool. And paid $3,000 towards a personal loan 5 days later. April 21st, paid the remaining balance on the personal loan. That's great. April 21st, credit score rises to 738. It's lower than that now.
That's these documents are from June. It's 734, so I guess 4 points lower, but
okay. And Best Buy credit card was paid in full on June 29th, which is awesome. So that one is the most recent, and now we are meeting today. Oh.
What are these? Oh, just questions.
We can get into those in a bit.
Yeah,
right now, let's figure out your monthly required survival number. Okay, so $229 for braces, $180 for car insurance, car payment $233, groceries $300. Good. Let's give yourself $100 for like toilet paper, toothpaste, all that good stuff. And gas is $320, but it will be going down. Let's say $250 now, just to be a little conservative. Rent $1124, but you estimate about another $175 for utilities.
Sure. To be on the safe side.
Okay. Internet, $80. Good. Phone bill, that's all taken care of. Okay. Any other minimum monthly payments in your life that you can think of?
No, you got everything there, right? Insurance and everything.
I'm really glad those credit cards are gone. That's really good.
Yep.
So $2,671 is needed to survive.
What did I have on there to survive?
You had 2,642. Okay. So very close.
Yeah.
We just adjusted some things for utilities and how much gas you would actually be using.
Yeah.
And 3,500 comes in. So cool. Definitely some to play with to continue getting out of this situation. So this is what I would do, because I don't think I'm going to convince you to get out of that apartment. I wouldn't do it, but let's just assume you're going to continue it. $829 is left. I know you say you hate seeing money on the side when you have to pay off debt, but let's account for a little bit of risk. But now that you're getting into a situation that is harder to get out of, you can't rely on your parents as much for the apartment itself.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah.
No, I know. I'm just saying. So there's, we need to be more prepared for it, financially speaking. So you need 2,671. You have $500 saved up in 2 different saving accounts. 1 month you set aside. That extra money you have brings it to $1,329. So that's what I would do in 1 month. Making minimum payments on everything else. So that's the end of month number 1. Month number 2, you put the next $829 to it. And you said you can make more money by working more hours, which is awesome. I would do that. $829. So you're now at $2,158 by the end of month 2 in a savings account.
What if I got approved for this balance transfer card? Why can't I just take the truck loan that's on there, put it on the 0% card, and make like just minimum monthly payments and take all the extra money and just put it in the high yields? And then it's for 21 months, so.
Balance transfer, does it, what are the limitations it's put on the balance? Like what kind of loan? Do you have a specifically vehicle loan for this car?
Do I have I have a truck loan for that car.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a truck loan.
I don't know much about balance transfer. I thought you could just transfer any balance. Is it like a?
It depends. Like I could take a look at it if you have it, but I don't know.
If you don't recommend it, that's fine.
Well, it's not even recommending it. It's just like I don't 100% know the situation around either of those loans to make sure that that's even something you could do.
Okay.
I honestly don't think so if they're both just traditional and standard. Like if this was, I was thinking maybe even a personal, because I know you had that personal loan which you paid off.
Yeah.
But I was thinking maybe if this car was on a personal loan, but it's a standard vehicle loan.
Yeah, it's just standard vehicle loan.
It also depends on the loan issuer for that truck loan and the credit card. So, I mean, that's some things to look into depending on what you want to do. Okay. And then coming from a car, it can also have an insane transfer fee. That might not even make up for whatever the interest.
I thought it was based on the balance. Like it's like if you transfer $7,000 over, it's.
But it's also coming from a different loan type. This is coming from a vehicle loan type. So it's depending on both accounts and both. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Places.
Okay.
Both companies.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm blanking.
Yeah, that's fine.
But either way, yeah, it's coming from different. But either month 2, you have 2,158 saved up on the side, and then the first half of month 3, save it all the way up to 2,671. Put that in your high yield, and then you have a 1 month emergency fund. So halfway through month 3. Then after that, your braces are honestly almost paid off at that point. So we're probably just minimum until that one's done. But everything else you're making should really just go towards the car wherever the loan is. wherever the loan is. And since you'll be making higher payments on this car anyway, bringing down the overall principal, it might not even be worth the different, even if you can transfer it and the, gosh, why can I not think of the word? There is one word that I want to call them. The issuer of the car debt. Either way, if they do not allow whatever, okay, then it might not even be worth it with how quick we're going to pay this off anyway, because you're going to have the extra 229 or 209 from the braces, 229. You're going to have that in just a few months anyway. And this extra $1,000 that you're making on a monthly basis, you just go towards the car and should pay that car off in like 6 months. Anyway, so you have a 1 month emergency fund in 3.5 months, or in 2.5 months, and then another 6 months minimum, the car should be paid off. So end of the year, I'm not 100% sure.
We'll see. I think I can, like I said, I can work more and get.
If you work more, bring in more money, sure. But right now, the math doesn't work with the 3,500 net with rent. So that's even if we don't save up a 1 month emergency fund. I'm not saying the end of the year work out mathematically, but more money obviously creates better results there. Now, the 1 month emergency fund, I feel like you might not do it based on historic performance, but I really would in this situation because it's different than living with family.
Yeah.
Having to be responsible for this rent. So, yeah, I mean, I think 8.5 months, easily, you should be out of the car debt, the braces debt, have a 1 month emergency fund, and then getting rid of the minimum monthly debt payments, $2,671 minus that 229 minus the 233. Those are the car debts and the braces debt. So 2,209 is what you need to survive on a monthly basis minimum. Times that by 6 would be 13,254. No, sorry, 13,254. Minus that by the 2,671 you already have in a savings account. You need to bring in you need to save up an extra 10,583. So divide that by the now extra 1,250 you have on a monthly basis. 8.5 months.
So I'm done with everything. Well,
8.5 months, your base level is finally set for financial progress, for being in a good place financially. The base level.
Cool.
Of getting out of all bad debts and having a fully funded emergency fund. So it's essentially year and a quarter, maybe. Year and a quarter, depending on your income and what comes in and how much is sustained. Again, we started taking a step back this last month, and we signed up for a lease again. Yeah. So
I think it'll be better. I think this apartment would help me. Like, I don't know, mentally it's been hard. Just always being out, getting home at like 11 at night and having to wake back up. Like when I was working at Amazon,
You're working your ass off. But remember what the sacrifice is for. Though.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't have this rent and we had an extra $1,000, and this is why I would try to get out of it if you can, that extra $1,000 you can start putting towards this stuff. Dude, you have a fully funded emergency fund. The car and the braces are gone in what?
But we're only looking at
8 months?
The finance part of it, like the mental
Of course.
health. Yeah, so like
mental health's a big part of it.
I don't think it's worth the $1,000 that I'm saving. Like I've sat and I've thought about this, and I was like, well, it'd be great to have this extra. But I think like with what I'm trying to do, like this apartment would be good. Like losing weight, like I'm not disciplined enough to go home. Like if I have my meal prep and my mom has like pizza on the table or she has ice cream or cake, I'm not disciplined enough to be like, I'm not going to get something. Like it's so accessible. But when I was at my apartment, though my finances weren't good, my health was good in terms of my mental and my physical. So I think.
Have you sought mental health?
No, I don't need any of that. I just, no.
Well, what?
It's not that I don't.
I think everyone needs it.
To a certain extent.
Of where they are.
I think a therapist, their job is to break you down and talk about the mental things or the barriers in which. Well,
their job is to help you with however you need help.
Yeah. I think I know how I need help. I need to go do it. I think I'll be fine. I've went to a therapist a couple of times, and I think 2 sessions was all I needed to know what, I need to work and make more money and I'll be fine. That's pretty much it.
I'm a little nervous with the way you're talking about some things. You seem very set in stone and not very flexible at all. And that makes me a little nervous when we think we know everything, because I don't even know close to everything. And even the stuff I've talked about on the show has evolved quite a bit the more I've learned and the more people I've talked to. You are very concrete with where you are, and that makes me a little nervous just in long-term viability for many things.
I think that the last time I came here, I was a lot more open-minded, and I'm still open-minded. I'm still flexible. I just I've sat and I've thought about this. Like when you're working as many hours as I do, I sit Amazon. I'm thinking about, I know this will work. I know, when I was on this little journey, I cut back. I took away my grocery budget because I'm just like, I just want to get this done. Like, I think that, what is the words I'm looking for?
Men's hubris can be dangerous, though.
What is that?
When you're 100% confident that something will work, and there's knowing, you say, I know this is going to work. It can be dangerous.
It can be dangerous, but I think it's good to be confident that,
confidence is good, but putting like everything in one basket and just assuming because you know that it's all going to work can just be a little risky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
But again, I'm not 100% against this rent thing. That's why the plan we laid out has the rent in there. Me just knowing mathematically how good it is to be out of debt and how good that affects the majority of people's mental health, I personally would deal with it for another 9 months or so instead of extending this to twice as long. But it's okay to do that for twice as long, especially, and let's talk about how important it is to get to the end of the line. If there is a higher % chance for you to get out of debt and have a fully funded emergency fund by doubling this process and being in an apartment versus having the likelihood that you will get out of debt and have a fully funded emergency fund by staying at home, even though it might be quicker, then I'm good with that longer process.
That you literally just explained it perfect. I think that's like the metric I'm looking at. Like I'm the fire, as you say, is burnt or is not as lit because, I'm at home. I'm tired of driving. I'm tired of being at the crib or at the house with my parents. I just want to go home, be in my place, be close to work, and be able to wake up and do what I got to do.
Yeah. But even the job that you're going to the most is still almost just as far away.
Yeah, but it's not, that doesn't bother me as much as it's when I'm getting off of work and it's 10:30 at night and I still got to drive 30 minutes home after working a 12-hour day or 10-hour day, whatever.
So you go and work at the gym after
throughout the week, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
So
let's try to definitely pick up as many hours as we can, especially now that we're closer as well. Let's take advantage of that because I think obviously bringing up your income is going to help in any way whatsoever.
Which there's tons of room for that to grow.
Yeah. But if we're taking the sacrifice of paying, $1,300 with rent and utilities now, let's try to make it up in some other way because we are starting to lose progress and we're losing progress on the, we went out to eat a lot. That was a lot. Mm-hmm. Let me bring up some of your spending statistics we saw in the last month. Going out to eat, $304. That's not what I want to be seeing in a follow-up episode when that's more than your braces payment. That's more than your car payment. You could have made more than double your payment on either of those versus the Mickey D's, but we chose Mickey D's. That makes me a little nervous. What is so awesome, and I want to celebrate so much, and we can, and we have, especially towards the beginning, is you've made incredible progress, and that's celebrating. It's so easy to slip back, and I hope you understand why I'm nervous, whether or not you agree with it. I hope you at least understand why, because we've seen it plenty and plenty of times. Amazon, $110.
What did I spend on Amazon?
$519 on gas.
Yeah,
Woo.
Gas is expensive.
Yeah. And you're driving an old truck. Yeah, so
it's reliable. Trust me. That's reliable.
I know, but gas.
Oh yeah.
Expensive, so it makes sense. And there was again a lot of books, and you went to Best Buy as well, and some stuff like that. Second Swing.
Yeah,
that $75.
I can return that laptop if I need to. It's for school though. So.
How is school going?
Great. I mean.
How much longer?
A couple of years. If I'm only doing like 3 or 4 classes a semester.
Yeah. Well, we're cash flowing it.
Yeah, so I'm trying. Yeah, that's the main thing, cash flowing it. So we'll see. I'm just trying to get the classes out as fast as I can.
Once we're fully out of debt and we have a fully funded emergency fund, now, of course, doing the rent situation, it stretches to like a year and a quarter. So you're going to be relatively close to finishing school at that point anyway. But if we went the route of staying at home, had a fully funded emergency fund, paid off all the debt, and then moving into a place in 9 months or so, maybe even quicker if you work more hours, what I would then say, once you have a fully funded emergency fund and stuff like that, we start cutting back on work and just earning what you need to survive, because you already have a fully funded emergency fund. So what's needed to survive and what's needed to pay for school. And then the rest of the time is actually spent on finishing up school quicker. You can do that in either way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that's not my plan was to move into the apartment and work until I obviously work the hours I work until I finish paying off the truck and get the emergency fund. Once that's in, then maybe I'll cut back on the working, and I'll start, like, I want to on the side do editing. So I would really want to do editing. So I'll learn that.
Editing
videos like YouTube and things of that nature for my YouTube channel, help grow my YouTube channel through that, and maybe start a business, or people come to me for, if they want to edit a video or.
What do you want, the degree or that?
Yeah, that's another thing. I just want a lot of things.
Yeah, well, let's focus. We've had people on this channel who want so many things, and without focusing and setting goals and what's necessary to hit those goals, we want to make sure we're at least achieving these guidelines. Achieving these goals. If we have endless amount of goals and we get distracted and it takes forever to finish any of them because we have so many we're trying to achieve, it makes it harder to reach the finish line for any of those goals.
Yeah.
So I think in this situation, we choose, okay, do we want the degree? Do we want to pursue those? I'm good with either. Like, you can do whatever you want. If we choose the degree, once we paid off the bad debt and we have the fully funded emergency fund, let's focus on getting that degree. Let's double our classes and make sure we're cash flowing it, but you don't need to work as many hours to do that anymore at that point.
If I'm not working 60 hours a week and I'm working 40, let's say I pay off the truck and I have the 7,500 as a emergency fund or 10 grand, however you want to do it, then I can still I can divvy that time up with school and learning editing. It doesn't have to just
You can, but then school is still being stretched out as long as it is now. Because we're not doubling up on school or whatever mathematical.
I still double up on school. I double up on school and do editing. Like, I know a substantial amount of editing, but I just want to perfect it per se. Does that make sense?
That does, but again, there is a disconnect here. There is something that, I don't know, you're just saying, like, yeah, I'll just double up on school and I'll pick up editing.
Yeah.
It just magically works.
It's kind of how it's worked the past 9 months. I just I'm just going to take full load and I'm just going to work this many hours. And you just figure out when you really want to do something. I feel like you just figure out, how to do it. You just put it on the plate, do it. It's kind of how this kind of happened. I paid off all of it.
You haven't paid off everything though. Well, you've made good progress and we're starting to slide back.
Yeah.
So again, there's some kind of assuming things are just going to happen, and that always just makes me a little nervous. But
we'll see.
You're right; things have worked so far, and again, we can celebrate that. There's nothing wrong with that, obviously. It's just like, okay, what I would just rather, let's either get the degree or we go full in on the editing thing. Is once we're done, like, okay, so answer me this: when we're done with school and everything, do we want to be editing full time or do we want to go into IT?
Editing is the ultimate goal. Editing and doing YouTube is the ultimate goal. But
then why are we wasting time and money on this IT thing?
Because I'm trying to not only set an example for my family and my brothers, which I understand you disagree with, but I'm finishing what I started. I'm being a man of my word, saying I'm going to get my degree. I told him I'm going to get it.
That sounds like some ego thing. Like, though, no, to the ego of just you having to live up to, like, your own certain standard.
That's something
I don't mean ego in the way of, like, oh, I'm all this, I'm this. I'm just talking about internal ego of, like, you have to meet this because you promised it and stuff like that. And I'm good with the man of the word things. But again, just realistically, real world, well, we're here only once, Why are we spending all this time and money on something we're never going to use?
Because I don't know what maybe I'm not saying it. I don't know. My dad, all he asked for me, growing up is he said, son, I just want you to graduate college and get your degree.
Yeah, but that's an American flaw though. That's a classic American flaw of, like, parents, they want nothing more than their kids to go and get a degree, but they don't even understand the value of degrees. They don't understand the value of college. They don't understand what it costs to go to college. That's just, who cares? I understand the emotional impact of that, but your life is your life. I don't give a what anyone else thinks about your life.
Well, you asked, like, what I want to do in my life. Like, part of is making my parents proud, and things in that nature. So
you don't think they'd be proud if you were a successful video editor? You think the degree itself is what makes them proud?
No, I don't think the degree itself, but it's a part of it. And I told them I would do it. So I'm being a man of my word, regardless if it's as an ego or status. I'm just doing what I said I was going to do, and that's it. It doesn't have to be any deeper than that. It's not.
You are not flexible.
How is that not flexible?
Because you have your mind set and you're not willing to adjust at all. It's good to be challenged. I'm not saying you have to fully change your opinion, not even close, but you don't seem very open-minded.
I'm open-minded to stretching out the degree if that's what it takes. I mean, but like you're talking about just completely wiping it out and just not even getting it.
I'm saying focus on what you want to do. What is the end goal? And let's do what is achievable, along the way, setting a plan to hit the final goal. Right now, we're we're spread out. There's so many things we want to do. And where you're going to be finishing a degree in your late 20s when we're following this thing. We have no investing going on. So that's scary at that point. What? You're going to be investing like crazy while you're getting a degree, while you're also video editing, while you're also working 60 hours a week? So we now have a third thing we're going to be doing all of a sudden magically?
Taking the money that I have extra and just putting that in an investment account, isn't that not investing? What is it, editing and
if you have extra money at that point, why not just take more college courses then?
I think I'm missing something, because
if you have extra money at the point where the bad debt is paid off,
yes,
and you have a fully funded emergency fund, why don't we either cut back on work that is creating that extra money so that you can finish up the degree quicker, or use that money again to pay for more classes, cash flowing, so that you can finish the degree quicker? We're still spreading out the college forever?
I guess so. Maybe I'm missing something, because with the extra money, you put a certain percentage, do the little 50, 30, 20. Obviously, I'm kind of off of it, but put a certain amount and investing. I'm still investing. I'm literally taking the match at my job. I mean, I'm not investing aggressive how you would want, like the 20 or the 15%, but investments are always going to be there. I'm going to be putting money to investments.
You haven't yet though, right?
Yeah, I've been taking the match or whatever they have.
The match, good. I would take the match.
Yeah, but not like going above that. I don't think I plan on doing like getting into the stock market. I mean, maybe, but the retirement is really the main thing, isn't it?
Just overall retirement at some point. It's the focus on different things. And I think this is, screaming to me more than any other episode why I think Dave Ramsey's baby steps actually work for a lot of people. It's because his baby steps are very intentional so that people focus on one specific thing at a time. Because right now we are spread across so many different goals. Mm-hmm. And I don't want you to be working 60 hours forever to finish up this degree that's going to take forever and never creating a overall large enough investment portfolio, because again, all these things are taking forever.
I don't mind working 60 hours a week though. It doesn't bother me.
You say that now. You're going to be fine doing that for decades and decades?
I've been doing that for the past 3 years.
3 years
2020
is shorter than a decade.
It is shorter than a decade, but
you remember, you're also already getting tired, so we're using that as an excuse to go and justification for signing up for $1,300 rent.
That's valid.
Yeah.
But,
so what happens the next time when you feel like you need a big change? But we can't just go get like another apartment isn't going to solve it. You've already hit that. So what are we going to do at that point? Maybe cut down on work? I hope not, because we can't, because we're stretching college out forever, because we also want to spend time doing this video editing. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
we'll see. We'll do the checkup in 6 months, 9 months, however. We'll see where I'm at. And I think that everything will fall into place.
I want to take a brief moment to thank today's video sponsor, Aura. Are you sick and tired, just like me and everyone else, honestly, of receiving endless spam calls every day? I mean, look at this. Let me open my phone. Look at this. This right here is all spam. It's crap, except for one friend. There's one friend phone call. The rest is spam. Data brokers are making a fortune selling your information to robocallers, spammers, and others who want to learn more about you, like where you live. But with Aura, they can identify data brokers exposing your info and submit opt-out requests on your behalf. Brokers are legally required to remove your info if you ask them to, but they make it super hard to do. Let Aura handle that for you. Aura also does a lot more to protect you and your family from online threats you can't see. It's really easy to set up, so you don't have to download several different apps to get things like parental controls, antivirus, VPN, password management, identity theft insurance, and more. You can get everything at one affordable price. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online so you can focus on other things with peace of mind. Go to aura.com/hammer or check out the link at the top of the description below. Thanks again to Aura for sponsoring this episode. It's very optimistic. It's nice. I mean, I don't think anything's going to go wrong. Mm-hmm. But things can happen. And I think overall, with your drive and wants that you'll be successful in the end, I just want to get you to your goals quicker. That's all. And I think I see paths to do that, but I don't think you're open-minded to those.
Just not doing the apartment? Is that what you're saying in terms of being open-minded? What am I, in terms of not getting third? Not
or even about the degree, or focusing on the editing, or getting finishing college quicker, or there's just a lot of the things that we talked about. It's like, okay, but this is my plan. Well, okay, here's this thing. Okay, yeah, but this is my plan. Well, here's this altar. Yeah, but this is my plan. It's like, okay. We can you want to just go through them?
You can if you want to.
Is there anything worth going into debt for other than a house? I think that depends. So everyone's a different person. Everyone's a different individual. I think there's even good ways to do car debt. I just think it's risky for the average person. I think at a 3% interest rate on a 32-month loan, just putting minimal percent down, and let's say you have $10,000 and there's a $10,000 car you can buy in cash where you can put $1,000 down and have like a 3% interest rate, which is hard to get now with where interest rates are, and then invest the other 9% with the average returns of the stock market. That I am happy with. It makes me nervous for the average person because, one, maybe they'll go get a more expensive car now because they're putting money down, and two, maybe they'll just go blow that money instead of investing it. But I think there's very good ways to use debt for very disciplined people. So, and then yes, like you said, real estate is obviously a good place when doing it right. Opinion on FIRE, retire early movement. No, I love it. It's great. Hard work. And a lot of people have found themselves in that situation. I like to browse that subreddit and watch YouTube videos of people situation. They find themselves almost without friends in connections once they get to the moment of hitting FIRE. And it's like, I wish there's probably a good conversation because I'm not super I'm not in the movement, so I'm like viewing from the outside. But I've seen a lot of that. I think there could be a good conversation around, maintaining relationships so that once you're the place where you can hit FIRE, that you're able to actually live that life that you were working for, and you're not just. And also, a lot of people hit FIRE, and then the life that they're able to live on a yearly basis is still kind of like lower income type situation, like above poverty, but certainly not upper middle class or anything like that. And is that the life they want to live forever? I don't know. But again, I look at it from the outside, so I'm not as educated as someone who's full FIRE on that, because that's not something I care about personally.
Yeah, I get it.
What is your opinion on e-commerce, dropshipping, Amazon, FBA? Dropshipping, I know nothing about. I know people get sucked up into a bunch of courses and stuff.
I think that's a lot of social media, so that's kind of why I asked, what do you think about all these? Oh, I'm 18 and make $1 million. It's just like.
I actually worked with someone in 2 companies ago. The position I moved down to Austin and worked in sales with, who was making a lot of money doing Amazon selling. So I know some people can do it, but I know a lot of people fall into the scam of wanting to do this and then buying some people's super duper class. There's actually a lot of classes that I think are good and helpful out there. People can take good classes on budgeting and stuff like that, and that stuff is good. I think people can get sucked into a lot of the guru type stuff of like drop shipping. That's what I do not like. E-commerce, like we're doing a little e-commerce stuff right now with this, but I also want to make sure that people aren't buying it if they can't afford it, if they're in bad debt. So in general, I like the e-commerce. So degree from a university more than from a community college. There's no statistical out of studies. Every study that I've looked at and that anyone else I respect has looked at, there has been nothing to show that a degree from a university versus going to a community college or a name, a big name university versus a university that people haven't heard of is worth more in terms of the income that's been raised. The only thing that's potentially shown out, and there's not a lot of statistics backing it, but more just, people bringing up a potentially good point that needs to be looked into is potentially alumni relationships around the country. But most colleges have that anyway. But either way, if someone's like a high level executive at a company and they got a degree from blah, blah, blah university and they want to hire from blah, blah, blah university, well, they're just a dick, but they still might exist.
Oh, that makes sense.
Does the interest rate and term of payments really matter if I'm going to aggressively pay it off? We already had that conversation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you help me start investing? I don't like to give investing advice. I like to do my investments, but since I'm not certified to talk about investing, I don't like to do it just for potential legal reasons. So it's good to talk to just a financial advisor about that kind of stuff. Cool. What do I personally do? I like good low cost index funds that represent overall United States markets. And then 20%. typically for people starting in their 20s, potentially 30s, mid 30s, might have to get that up to 25%. If you're starting in your 40s, 30, 45% of your income, 30, 35% of your income, and that percentage only has to go higher if you're starting later. Should I refinance my truck and try to get a below 4% interest rate? That might be hard today with where interest rates are today. And anyway, we're going to pay it off quick. So quick. And with what the age of the car is, I'd want to pay it off quick anyway, regardless of the interest rate. Realistic timeline for you to buy a house. Depends how you want to go about this path, and then put some of your fund money into, because I need you to catch up on investing afterwards. So that 20% is probably what we're still going to hit anyway. So we might take from fun and needs eventually.
Percent into a Roth is what you, or like do a Roth.
Well, you'll max your Roth and then probably your 401k.
So when you're saying 20%, you're talking about like 20% for this traditional, and then for the Roth, that's just a separate thing, or is it all together?
I'd max out your Roth IRA, and then whatever is left over to hit that 20%, your 401k should be fine.
Cool.
But yes, I think you could definitely realistically, we'll get you in a house probably, you could aggressively 5 years. And then if you want to cut some from your needs and some from your wants, aggressively 5 years. Because I want you to put a good amount down. FHA usually gets, yes, it's more access into the real estate market, but your monthly payment just becomes so high. For many people, that's more than they can afford, and that becomes a little too risky. And I don't want you to get into a risky situation for what will eventually become probably your biggest asset. But 10 years as well. So 5 to 10 years. 5 on the more aggressive side, but sure. Can you lose the money that's in your 401k? Well, markets can go down, but I just wouldn't exit when markets are down.
I say this because my mom informed me that somebody had just lost all the money that was in their 401k. She didn't say how, but
I mean, even when markets dropped in 2009, everything dropped by 50%. So there was like no way for people to lose 100% unless they were in like the most unless they were just in like a stock that went to nothing. But if someone has 100% of their portfolio in one stock, they're doing it wrong anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So ever address some of the crazy financial advice that's given on TikTok, other platforms? This is not really my thing.
Yeah.
I don't do React content. But if you want to bring it here and talk about it, I'm happy to. Can I buy things from my YouTube and write it off as a business? Do you have an LLC set up?
No, I don't know anything about that. I'm just saying, I've heard you mention things about that. Just like, write it off.
Yeah, make sure before you do something like that, make sure your business is actually set up legally so you can start writing some things off.
Okay, so you have to do that. Okay.
Using 50, 30, 20, could you budget in a car payment as a part of your overall wants category? At some point, sure. I'd want the interest rate to be low, and I think following the money guy rule on that would be a halfway decent way to do it. Again, I think that's bad for the majority of people, but for the very savvy and disciplined people, there can be ways to do it. And that's what we kind of talked about that with your first question as well. Do you agree with the 23-8 rule for financing a car?
Yeah. That was the last one.
Cool. Well, I mean, in general, I know we definitely got into a back and forth about quite a few things in terms of what to do going forward and stuff like that. And, maybe the right answer is a mix between both of our opinions. But regardless of all that, I am very happy with the progress you've made so far. You have made me incredibly proud, and hopefully you've made everyone in the audience incredibly proud. With what we've seen for potential slipping back this last month, don't let that continue. Stop that, and let's get that fire lit under your ass again, and let's pay off this car, get a fully funded emergency fund, pay off the braces, and then start investing that 20% and start saving up to get that down payment on a house. And I think your life will truly be golden, man. I think just based on what you've talked about with your family, I don't know your family situation and everything like that, but I think you'll make a massive example over the next decade, 2 decades for your family, and you will probably be a generational shift in your family, and that's going to be very exciting. But we have to keep the discipline going. We have to make the sacrifices now temporarily for the better future. And I think you are along that path. Last suggestion would be focus up. Figure out what goals are, what is needed, what are the things we need to hit in order to hit those goals, the final objective, and focus on those. We can focus on a couple, but when we're focusing on like a bunch, it can take a very long time to hit any of those final objectives. And because it's taking such a long time, sometimes we can fall off that ladder of hitting those. So just focus up on some things.
Yeah, I think that I feel like I didn't speak to things or explain things the way I want it. Yeah. But that's why I like coming on here, like getting another opinion. It kind of brings that fire back up and kind of is like, okay. So
it's okay if you can speak it on perfectly. I fumble every other word, so that's okay. And I mean, the last thing I would just really, when it comes to mental health, be open to seeking just mental health expertise. I like to surround myself with people who know more things than I do on certain topics. I might be the personal finance guy, but I don't know about a lot of stuff. So surround yourself with people who do know those things. So I surround myself with mental health experts in my corner when I can for my own therapy and stuff like that.
I agree.
You go your own route, but that's just something I would potentially suggest. And then your life matters regardless of other people's expectations for you and the pridefulness around that. Your life matters in the end, man. And once you are able to take care of yourself, you're able to take care of others in more ways than you ever could before. So focus on that regardless of what other people want and other people's expectations of you. Cool. That would be my thoughts.
I agree.
Do you have any final thoughts, any questions, anything at all?
Final thoughts. I just want to thank you for bringing me on, letting me show my journey. I appreciate it. Furthermore, let me think. I'm literally just blanking so much today. I don't know. It
happens. Me too.
Just in conclusion, just promise me you bring me back 6 months, 9 months for another follow up to see how it all plays out. I don't want to just show that I think that it'll all be fine. I know we went back and forth on some things, and I know that I'm not factoring in risk as much as I should be. But I'm just confident that everything will work out, and so I want to come show it.
Beautiful. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, for Josiah, it was a really good conversation. Let us know what you think about the discussion and disagreements we had in the comments below, and give him some love for coming back on here and for making the progress he has, because that's super exciting and we should always celebrate that. I think, honestly, his Hammer Financial score before would have been a 0 because it was just really bad. Right now, with where it is realistically, it would have been higher, except for just a couple things we saw. Spending in a budget. If it was what he was doing these last 7-8 months, it would have been 6, 7 out of 10, but because he really fell back into some bad habits and he was going out to eat almost every single day, it cannot be higher than a 2 out of 10. The debt made big progress. It would have been a 0 before, but still, because we have a high interest car debt, it still can't be higher than a 2 out of 10 for right now, but that's going to go away very quickly and his score is going to go up. Emergency fund, not much there, little, 1 out of 10. Investing, not much there, a little, 1 out of 10. Again, both of those will skyrocket soon. In real estate, next 5 to 10 years, but not right now, 0 out of 10. So for now, Hammer Financial score still low. It's going to be a 1 out of 10. But that is quickly going to be a 2 or a 3 out of 10 in the coming months. And in the coming years, it's going to be 5, 6, potentially 7 out of 10. And that is very exciting. And remember, the average person, average, solid, good, that's 5 out of 10 if you're thinking 0 to 10. So 5 out of 10 wouldn't be bad. 1 out of 10 for now. Make sure to check out all the resources linked in the description below. They are what I use or would use in specific situations. Also, whoever has the most viewed TikTok or YouTube short using a clip from this video, I'll send you $100. Post however many times you want, but you must tag my YouTube/TikTok @ and put YouTube Caleb Hammer in the title/description.